Hello, welcome to Math 14, Statistical Methods at College of the Desert for spring 2025. The purpose of this video is to go over the syllabus and some of the policies for the course and a little bit of Canvas that you're going to need in order to get our work done. So taking a look, I'm going to assume that you've at least logged into Canvas before and used it some. Right now you're watching this introduction start here video, so if you're watching this video, I know you've gotten in. Uh, the plan is to go over some of the basics of Canvas, and then we'll read through the syllabus right here, and that'll do it. So the plan for the video is to take about 15-20 minutes. All right, so there's that. As far as navigation goes, the kind of main things that you'll need for Canvas are this middle panel where it says syllabus and getting started. That middle portion all the way down is going to be what you're going to need. Along the left side, home is right here. Modules takes you actually to the same place the way that I've set it up. Discussions, we may have some discussion questions over the course of the semester. You'll access those here. And then you can check out anything else that you like in this column, but there's nothing actually required here. So within this kind of center panel, the organization, you'll see the little triangles to the left of each kind of header for each block. You'll notice here that it's pointing downward. If you click on that, that will collapse that block. So if you were looking for some file or something and it's gone now, it could be that you've closed that block. So that can give you, if you collapse all, for example, it can give you a little higher level view of what the structure of the course is. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and open up that syllabus block. We'll take a look at these things here in a minute. Going down, we have a block for helpful information. What that consists of primarily is handouts, PDF files of some advice to help you manage things like test anxiety or do test preparation, things of that sort. So you can take a look at those at your convenience. Let me know if you find any of that helpful or maybe anti-helpful. At the bottom, there's links to videos, one on how to make a practice test and one on how to take a practice test. Okay, let's go ahead and close that for now. Office hours, I'll have office hours in person on the Palm Desert campus. But additionally, we'll have office hours on Zoom when we do. The link to that will appear here. Okay, beyond that, lectures and notes so far, chapters 1 through 3 are available. And you'll see how this is structured when we open that block. There's a PDF of lecture notes for sections 1.1 and 1.2, and then lecture videos that follow. Then notes for section 1.3, lecture follows, note for 2.1, lecture that follows. In general, the notes will come first and then the lectures come after. And everything up through the end of chapter 3 is currently available. Okay, so that's the big picture. In general, with Canvas, you're not going to break anything by clicking on stuff. So feel free to explore, look around. If you have any questions on any of it, let me know. All right, so the rest of the stuff in the syllabus and getting started block, the introduction start here. That's the video you're watching right now. The syllabus we're going to look at in a second. This video, introduction to MyStatLab. MyStatLab is the software that we're going to use to get all of our coursework done. This video explains how to set up the account and some of the basics of how to use it. One thing that's important to note is that the course ID in the video is incorrect. It was from a prior term. And so when you actually go to set up your account, use this one, this course ID, Kleinfelter 21482. Additionally, there's some written instructions on how to create your account here that do have the correct course ID. So make sure if you're following along with this introduction to MyStatLab video that you are using the correct course ID. If you run into any difficulty with that, of course, let me know and I will help you out. All right, so the next thing to do is to take a look at the syllabus. All right, so let's do that. I'm the instructor, Dan Kleinfelter. My email address here as shown. You can email me anytime. I check my email every day during the week and once in a while on weekends. If you do email me, if you could write Math 14 or something in the subject line, just so I know which course you are writing from. I have a couple of different courses. So far, I have office hours in person on the Palm Desert campus. The hours are Monday, Wednesdays, 11 to 12:30, and Tuesday, Thursdays, 12:30 to 1:30. I'm going to add Zoom office hours. When I do that, I will put the link on Canvas. Okay. Um, there's that. Course content. So you can read through the course content there. It may or may not mean much to you. If it doesn't mean anything to you right now, that's okay because we haven't taken the course yet. But basically what it is a first course in statistics. Statistics is kind of divided into two halves. There's a descriptive statistics half and an inferential statistics half. I shouldn't probably really say half because most of it is actually inferential. Anyways, the descriptive part is the part where we use tools to describe sets of data, things like bar charts or tables or calculations like the average and something called the standard deviation. In school, you probably calculated a mean, median, and mode at some point, things like that. Numbers that help describe a set of data or graphical ways of describing like a set of data like graphs and tables and charts. That's the descriptive statistics. The inferential statistics half is how we can use sample data to make some sort of inference, it's the name, or decision or conclusion about some sort of population. As a quick example, let's say that we thought or someone claimed to us that the average age of a COD student was 19 years old, let's just say. And so it would be kind of impractical for us to go out and check the age of every single COD student, add them all up, divide by how many there are to come up with an average and see if it's actually 19. So instead, we might take a sample, the people in your class or the first 40 people you see come out of the library or whatever, and calculate the average age of those people. So first of all, there's some flaws there. If you were to collect ages from people in like a sophomore course, you might be more likely to run into students who are older. And so in that way, your sample wouldn't well represent COD students as a whole. On the other hand, it could be that there's some deviation from the actual group of COD students as a whole just due to chance. So if you got in your sample of, let's say, 40 people, an average age of like 18, we would have to make a decision about whether the average age of a COD student in general was 18, or could it still be 19, and our sample just deviated from that due to chance. Right. So there's, of course, more to it than that. We'll be together for a whole semester, but that's kind of the idea. How can you use information about a subset of a large group to make a decision about an entire population? We'll see. So that's basically what the course content is about. By the end of the semester, we'll have a better sense of what all these specialized terms mean. Usually people take this class either just to make or satisfy a transfer requirement. Okay, I need to take a transferable math course. Or it's a class that is required for their major. Often business students take the course, people in allied health fields will take the course, and others. Sometimes math majors or science majors will take the course. If you have a question over whether this class is right for you, let me know and we can talk about it. We'll figure it out. Prerequisites for the course. Officially, intermediate algebra basically is a prerequisite. As far as math goes, we won't be like from algebra doing things like factoring or completing the square or the quadratic formula or graphing parabolas. None of that really comes up at all. The main things from your prior math that you will need is to be able to do just calculations with a calculator. If we were to give you some numbers, can you plug them into a formula and calculate an answer? Can you do order of operations, basically, with a calculator? Later on, we may have occasion to graph lines, but usually we will be using the computer to do that anyways. Can you look up numbers using a table? And that's basically the extent of it. If you have a question over whether you meet the prerequisite or not, again, let me know if you have any questions. There is an advisory on there of English 1A. Of course, we're not going to be reading short stories or writing essays or anything like that. But there is a fair amount of reading. Some of the statistical procedures that we follow are written out and they're kind of long. A lot of things are story problems. So you have to be able to read the story problems in order to answer the questions. Okay. Format of the course is obviously online. Additionally, it's asynchronous. What that means is that the course doesn't have set meeting times. You don't have to log in every day at 11 o'clock, for example. The videos or the content is delivered through pre-recorded videos where you get on, watch the videos at your convenience. You do the work on My Stat Lab, basically at your convenience up until the due date. And we'll have set dates for tests, but other than that, you work at your own pace as long as you're meeting deadlines. There aren't, like I said, live lectures. There are live office hours, of course, um, but no live lectures. One thing worth noting is that COD is in California, so our course time is going to be Pacific time. If you are located somewhere else or you're going to be on vacation somewhere else over the course of the semester, make sure to adjust for that when you log in elsewhere. Okay, it's up to you to check and verify those dates and times. Overall time commitment for the class will vary depending on the person. Depending on what chapter we're covering, depending on your math background, when your last math class was and how well you did in it. But an average is about 8 hours per week during the semester, aside from the time spent viewing lectures. So you'll be watching lecture videos, and then the time you spend actually doing work, solving problems and so forth, and studying would be more like the 8 hours per week. Going back to the course format for a minute, something I had forgotten to mention. Although the class is online, it's not going to be any easier than taking the class in person. Um, and it probably will not take any less time. The asynchronous part means that you can, like I said, work at your own pace as long as you're meeting deadlines. You don't have to log in, like I said, 11 o'clock every day, 11 to 12:20. But you do need to spend the same amount of time, but it's more up to you when you spend that time. Do you want to work on it at midnight when you get off work? Do you want to work on it at 4 in the morning? Do you want to work on it Saturday afternoon? Some flexibility there as far as when you get your work done. That said, it's better to uh, pace yourself and do the work kind of spread out over the course of the week. You'll learn better and be less fatigued if you do the work a little bit every day versus doing like nothing all week and then 6 hours on Saturday. Okay, it's better to spread math out. It goes down easier that way. All right, so materials need for the course. There's one required book. It's Elementary Statistics, the 14th edition by Triola, and you do need to have My Math Lab access. More about the course ID here in a minute. So a question can come up. Do I need to have a hard copy of the book? Totally up to you whether you have the book or not. I'll never even know if you have the book. Okay, so whether you buy the book, paper copy of the book is totally up to you. You do need to have the access to My Math Lab because that's the software we'll be using to get all of our work done. The software has access to the ebook, so you can view the book electronically. It's up to you if you want to buy the book, which comes with a code inside, and then you have a paper copy of the book and My Math Lab access. Or if you just want to get My Math Lab access and look at the book online. That part is totally up to you. In the other video, the kind of introduction to My Stat Lab video that I showed you on Canvas, that one goes into more detail about your purchase options, basically. Again, once again, if you have any questions about that, let me know. Grading, over the course of the semester, we'll have 3 tests. Each one is 15% of your grade, making 45% of your grade altogether. Homework, 20% of your grade. Quizzes, 12% of your grade. Participation and discussion questions, 3% of your grade. So periodically, we'll have questions posted on Canvas, and those will contribute towards that 3%. At the end of the semester, a comprehensive final exam worth 20% of your grade. Okay, there's that. Exams will be scheduled in advance and probably occur on Thursdays. The plan is so far to have a test about every 3 chapters. So at the end of chapter 3, at the end of chapter 6, and then around 9 or maybe 10 for that last one. You will have at least a week's notice that an exam is coming. The exams are due at midnight, and as a reminder, that is Pacific time, so make sure to take that into account. You need to start early in order to have the full time. So if you're given 90 minutes for the test, make sure you start by 10:30 to get the whole time. In other words, if it's due at midnight and you start at 11, you're not going to get to work until 12:30. It'll cut off at midnight and you're only going to get an hour. If you are unclear about that, let me know. The final exam, this is wrong. It's obviously not going to be December 12. The final exam is actually May 23rd. 23rd. So make a note of that. I'll send you a reminder, of course, when we get a little closer. For the final exam, we will have 2 hours to get that done. Okay, there's no makeups for missed work. In general, you want to try to keep an eye on our calendar and not miss assignments. In general, we'll have at least several days to get each assignment done. So as long as you're logging into my stat lab a couple of times a week, you shouldn't miss assignments. None of the exams, including the final, can be taken early or late. If you miss one of those first 3 exams, the ones that are listed right here, worth 15% of your grade. If you miss one of those, I will replace your score with whatever you earn on the final exam. You do need to let me know on or before the day of the missed test. Sorry, I got a flat tire, so I can't take the test. I'm not sure how that would affect you if it's an online class, but whatever. Send me an email, Canvas message, or something telling me, okay, I'm not going to be able to make the test. If you miss the test and then email me like 2 weeks later, hey, that test we had back in February, I missed it, then we may not replace that one with the final. So let me know right away if you miss a test or are going to miss a test. Only one exam score is replaced. So if you have the misfortune of missing a second test, that second one's going to count as a 0. So try not to miss more than one test. There's no makeup for the final. If you miss that, then that's going to be rough. Okay, so don't miss the final. Make a note of that now. It's going to be on May 23rd. Okay. Your grade is determined by your performance on the assigned work. COD doesn't do plus minus grading, so it'll be 90% for an A, 80% for B, and so on, as shown. There's no extra credit. We don't give credit for, I don't give credit for non-academic things like needing the class to transfer or graduate, haven't taken the class before, scholarships, being an international student, athlete, sick family members, or anything like that. I think it's most fair to base people's grades on their performance in the class. And so that's the criterion that we'll use in assigning grades. Okay, so there is that. It's not stated here, but there's no guarantee about rounding or any kind of a curve. So if you have your heart set on a B, note that a 79% may not turn into a B, okay? Or 79.5% may not turn into a B. If you want a B, make sure you get the 80%. There may be some rounding or a curve at the end, but there's no guarantee of that, okay? Homework is completed using my math lab. My math lab and my stat lab are essentially the same thing, okay? There's that. Calculators, you'll need a scientific calculator, most likely. You can do a lot of the statistical work using a scientific calculator. A lot of people will use there's a statistical calculator built into my stat lab. A lot of people will just use that. That works. You can also use a spreadsheet like Excel. So people will use that if they're comfortable and familiar with it. But a scientific calculator will be helpful too. If you want to know whether a certain calculator is useful or will help in this class specifically, let me know. Okay, student learning outcomes, you can read through that, see if that makes some sense to you. It's supposed to be kind of an everyday language explanation of what's in the course. Um, Attendance, this is online class, so as far as what attendance means is logging into Canvas, reading the notes, watching the videos, logging into my stat lab and getting work done, right? Um, it's not used in calculating your grade, your attendance. However, people who do attend, that is, do those things, watch videos, read the notes, do assignments, tend to do better in the class. Um, you may be dropped from the class if you don't do work on my stat lab, my math lab, for 4 or more consecutive days. If there's something that comes up that means you're not going to be able to do that, but you do want to stay in the class, let me know. Unfortunately, people sometimes just kind of drift away from online classes, and if you disappear for 3 weeks, I'm going to assume maybe you're not coming back, and I may drop you from the class so that you don't end up with a really bad grade just due to non-attendance. Okay, classroom conduct. Basically, the college catalog's student code of conduct applies. Other than that, be honest, civil and courteous to one another. If you post things to the discussion forums, be polite and use academic or work appropriate language. If multiple people are in my office hours, we're going to take turns. Okay, easy enough. Students with disabilities, read through that. If you have any questions on it, let me know. Academic integrity, same. Read through that. If you have any questions, let me know. As I'd mentioned, there's no extra credit here. You're best off doing your best the first time. It's hard to catch up once you're behind. In this class, as is true with a lot of math classes, a lot of it is sequential. If you didn't understand chapter 2, chapter 3 is going to be a little hard. There are some more dependencies. For example, if you don't understand chapter 6, you're going to be lost for the rest of the semester. Try not to get behind. Try to do as well as you can from the beginning. Okay, some general advice that can help you out. Work on statistics every day. Um, I think you should work on it 7 days a week, maybe 6, take a break. But it's going to be, you'll learn more if you spread out the practice, shorter learning sessions, more frequently are more effective than marathon sessions rarely. So people who do like an hour Monday through Friday will learn more than people who do 5 hours on Saturday. Okay. Plus, doing 5 hours of statistics all at once is going to be discouraging. Okay. Plan on reading the book and watching the lectures. Sometimes people just kind of jump in and try the assignments without doing any prep work, and it goes a lot harder for them. You do need to practice. Math and statistics are subjects that do necessitate practice. Okay. All right. So that takes us to the end of our look at the syllabus. Again, make note of the different final exam date. And then also when you go to do the My Stat Lab account, take note of the different course ID. It's 21482 there. So your next steps are to take a little break, get something to eat, probably. Then watch the introduction to My Stat Lab video, see if you can get that account set up, and try to work on an assignment in there. Or again, take a look at the course ID. Let me know if you have any questions. So once again, welcome to the class. If you do have any questions, let me know and have a great day.